Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening.
The bustling spaceport city of Neoterra was a melting pot of cultures and species, especially since the Integration Accords brought several alien civilizations into closer collaboration with humanity. Among its gleaming towers and busy streets, Adam's luxury apartment stood overlooking the central district, a testament to human architectural ingenuity. It was a typically busy morning when Adam decided it was time to hire some help around the house. Running his own startup left little time for mundane tasks, and the apartment was beginning to show signs of neglect. He logged onto the Interspecies Service Network, a platform known for its rigorous vetting process and diverse listings. After scrolling through profiles, his attention was caught by one particular applicant, Lyra, a Vorton, a species recently introduced to human society, had glowing references and a kind smile that seemed to leap out from her digital profile. Curious and somewhat intrigued by the opportunity to learn more about her culture, Adam decided to hire her. The next day, Lyra arrived at his doorstep. She was taller than him, with iridescent skin that shimmered slightly in the sunlight, and eyes that reflected a curious intellect. "Mr. Adam Ryder?" Her voice was melodic, yet held a firm confidence. "Yes, and please, just call me Adam." "Welcome, Lyra," he replied, stepping aside to let her in. "I hope the journey here was comfortable." "It was, thank you. Your planet is very different from Vorta. Much busier, I notice," Lyra observed, looking around with an air of fascination. Adam chuckled. "Yes, Neoterra is always bustling. I hope it won't be too overwhelming for you." "I am eager to learn your ways, Adam. Thank you for this opportunity," she said, her tone sincere. "Let's start with a tour of the apartment then. I'll show you where everything is," Adam suggested, leading the way. As they moved from one room to another, he explained his routines and what he expected from her role. Lyra listened intently, asking pertinent questions that reflected her quick understanding. In the kitchen, Adam stopped and brewed some coffee for them both. "Do you drink coffee?" he asked as he filled 2 cups. "I have read about it, but never tried it," Lyra replied, her eyes lighting up with curiosity. "First time for everything then," Adam smiled, handing her a cup. Tentatively, Lyra took a sip and her face lit up with surprise and pleasure. "It's very energizing." "That it is," Adam laughed. "It keeps the city running." As they sat, Adam found himself intrigued not just by her alien features, but by her perspective on things that had become mundane to him. Lyra shared insights about Vorta, drawing parallels and contrasts with human society that made Adam realize how insular his life had been up to that point. "What made you decide to work off-world?" Adam inquired after they had discussed the differences between human and Vortan cuisines. "Curiosity, mostly," Lyra said, looking out the window at the bustling city below, "and the need for new experiences. Vorta is very unified and peaceful, but it's small, and everyone knows each other's business. Here, there's a mystery around every corner." "I can understand that. I started my company for similar reasons. Out of curiosity and a desire for something new," Adam shared, feeling a strange kinship with her despite their different origins. They spent the rest of the morning discussing their roles and responsibilities, but it felt less like an employer-employee meeting and more like the beginning of a friendship. By the time Lyra set about her duties, Adam felt confident that not only had he gained an efficient assistant, but potentially a window into a world he knew very little about. A few weeks had passed since Lyra started working for Adam. The initial awkwardness had faded, replaced by a comfortable routine and unexpected camaraderie. One evening, after a particularly long day at work, Adam returned home to find Lyra experimenting in the kitchen with a blend of human and Vortan cuisines. "Smells interesting," Adam remarked, hanging his coat and joining Lyra at the stove. "What's on the menu tonight?" Lyra turned from the stove with a smile. "I'm trying to combine your earth vegetables with some Vortan spices I brought. I call it Terran Vorta Fusion Stew." Adam raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "That's a bold endeavor. Need a taste tester?" "Actually, yes. I'm not sure I got the flavor balance right," Lyra admitted, handing him a spoon. After a cautious sip, Adam's eyes widened in surprise. "Wow, that's actually really good. It's got a kick to it." You might start a new culinary trend with this. Lyra's laughter filled the kitchen. I'm glad you like it. I was worried it might be too much for human taste buds. Encouraged by their easy banter, Adam decided to dive a bit deeper. Lyra, back on Vorta. What did you do before this? She paused, a hint of nostalgia flickering in her eyes. I was a cultural liaison, helping my people understand others we encountered. It's why I chose to come here. I missed the interaction, the exchange of ideas. That's quite a shift, from a cultural liaison to a maid. Doesn't it feel like a step back? Adam asked cautiously. In some ways, yes. But every job has its dignity, and every experience is valuable, Lyra responded thoughtfully. Besides, working closely with someone from another species, like this, is deeply informative. Adam nodded, impressed by her perspective. Have you found what you were looking for here with us humans? More than I expected, she said with a meaningful look. Humans are complex. I see why your species has such a tumultuous history. The conversation drifted to lighter topics as they ate. After dinner, Adam suggested, why don't we go for a walk? It might be nice to show you around the neighborhood. Lyra agreed eagerly, and they set out into the cool evening. The city lights cast a soft glow as they walked through bustling streets, with Adam pointing out his favorite spots and sharing little anecdotes about his life before starting his business. At one point, they stopped at a small park, where a group of children were playing an earth game of tag. Lyra watched them with fascination. It's interesting how universal some games are, Adam observed. Kids on Vorta play something similar? Yes, though it's more about strategy than speed. Vortan children love puzzles and challenges, Lyra explained. As they continued their walk, Adam realized how much he enjoyed sharing his world with Lyra and how eager he was to learn about hers. It wasn't just her alien features that fascinated him now. It was her mind, her way of seeing the world. Before they knew it, they had walked to the edge of the park, overlooking the city skyline. They stood in silence for a moment, taking in the view. This planet has beauty to it, much like Vorta, but livelier, more vibrant, Lyra said, her voice soft. I'm glad you think so, Adam replied. It's easy to take it for granted when you see it every day. They walked back in comfortable silence, each lost in thought about the evening's revelations. As they reached his building, Adam turned to Lyra. Thanks for tonight, Lyra. I think I needed to remember to look at my own city with fresh eyes. And I appreciate the opportunity to see it through your eyes, Lyra responded warmly. As they parted ways at the door to Adam's apartment, there was a mutual feeling of deepening connection, a sense that their relationship was evolving into something neither had anticipated. The Neoterra Festival of Lights was an annual event that lit up the city with holographic displays and traditional lanterns, drawing crowds from all sectors. Adam hadn't planned on attending until Lyra expressed her curiosity about the festival. Seeing an opportunity for her to experience more of human culture, Adam suggested they go together. Do you think it would be appropriate for us to go? Just for fun as friends? Lyra asked tentatively. Of course, Adam replied, a bit too quickly. It's a public event, very casual. Plus, it's good to get out of the apartment sometimes. The night of the festival, they met outside the apartment building. Lyra wore a simple, flowing dress that shimmered subtly under the streetlights, her natural glow adding an ethereal quality. Adam couldn't help but notice how the light played off her features, making her seem both otherworldly and strikingly beautiful. You look great, he commented, trying to keep his voice even. Thank you, Adam. You look quite handsome yourself, Lyra responded with a smile that suggested she was aware of the effect she had on him. As they walked towards the festival, the streets became progressively more crowded. The air was filled with the sounds of laughter, music, and vendors calling out to passers-by. Adam led Lyra to a stand selling traditional human festival food. Have you ever tried a funnel cake? He asked, handing her a piece of the sugary treat. Taking a cautious bite, Lyra's eyes lit up. It's delicious. Very sweet. I thought you might like it, Adam laughed, pleased by her reaction. They continued through the festival, trying different foods and participating in games. At one booth, they took turns trying to knock down a stack of bottles with a ball. Lyra's aim was surprisingly good. You're a natural, Adam teased, as she knocked down the bottles on her first try. It's all in the wrist, Lyra joked back, her laughter mixing with the festive noises around them. As they wandered through the festival, they came across a danced area where couples swayed to soft music under strings of lights. The atmosphere was romantic, and Adam felt a tug of longing as he watched the happy couples. "Do you dance, Lyra?" he asked, almost hoping she would say no. "I know some traditional Vorton dances. I've never danced like this, though," she said, watching the couples curiously. "Would you like to try?" Adam extended his hand, his heart racing. Lyra hesitated for a moment before placing her hand in his. "I would like that very much." On the dance floor, they started awkwardly, unsure of their movements. But as the song continued, they found a rhythm. Lyra moved gracefully, her body following the music intuitively. Adam, led by the beat and the warmth of Lyra's hand in his, began to relax. "You're a quick learner," he murmured as they spun gently. "You're a good teacher," she replied, her gaze locked on his. They danced through several songs, lost in the music and each other. It was only when the song ended and the crowd applauded that they realized they had drawn a small audience. Flushed and slightly breathless, they stepped off the dance floor. "That was more fun than I expected," Adam said, trying to steady his voice. "Me too," Lyra agreed, her eyes shining with excitement and something deeper. The walk home was quiet, both of them lost in their thoughts about the evening. As they reached the apartment, Adam found himself reluctant to end the night. "Lyra, he paused, unsure of how to express the storm of feelings inside him. "Yes, Adam?" Lyra looked at him, her expression open and expectant. "I'm really glad we went tonight. I had a great time with you," he managed, his voice soft. "So did I, Adam." "Thank you for inviting me," she said, her hand lingering in his for a moment longer than necessary before they said goodnight. As Adam lay in bed later, he couldn't stop thinking about Lyra, about their night together, and about the forbidden attraction that seemed to be growing between them. It was clear now that their relationship was shifting, becoming something neither of them could have anticipated. Several weeks had passed since the festival, and the air between Adam and Lyra was charged with an unspoken tension. Each day, their interactions were filled with lingering glances and hesitant touches that neither acknowledged but both felt deeply. It was late one evening, as they were sharing a quiet dinner at home, that the facade finally began to crumble. Adam had prepared a simple meal, wanting to spend some time together after noticing that Lyra seemed more pensive than usual. As they ate, he decided it was time to address the elephant in the room. "Lyra, we've been spending a lot of time together lately," Adam started, his voice cautious. "I've really enjoyed it, but I can't help noticing that things feel a bit different between us. Are you feeling that too?" Lyra set down her fork, her expression serious. "I have, Adam. I thought it was just me. It's confusing because I value our friendship, and I don't want to complicate things." Adam nodded, feeling a mix of relief and apprehension. "I value it too, more than you know. But pretending there's nothing else going on isn't helping either of us." There was a long pause as they both considered their next words carefully. "Where do we go from here?" Lyra finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm not sure," Adam admitted. "I know it's complicated, with you being from Vorta and the cultural differences. But I can't ignore how I feel about you, Lyra. It's more than just friendship." Lyra looked at him, her eyes searching his face for a moment before responding. "I feel the same way, Adam. It scares me because it's so unexpected, and I don't know what it means for us, for my future here." Adam reached across the table, offering his hand. Hesitantly, Lyra took it, her touch tentative. "Maybe we don't need to decide anything right now," Adam suggested. "We could just see where these feelings take us, without any pressure." Lyra squeezed his hand gently. "I'd like that." Encouraged by her response, Adam decided to take a bold step forward. "Stay with me tonight? We don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with. I don't want to be apart right now." Lyra's breath caught, and she nodded. "I'd like to stay." After clearing the dishes, they moved to the living room, where Adam dimmed the lights and put on some soft music. They sat on the couch, close but not touching, each acutely aware of the other's presence. As the music played, Adam turned to Lyra. Can I hold you? Without a word, Lyra shifted closer, allowing Adam to wrap his arms around her. They settled into the embrace, the warmth and closeness bringing a sense of peace. Gradually, Lyra relaxed against him, her head resting on his shoulder. "Thank you for being here," she murmured. "Always," Adam whispered back. They stayed like that for a long while, simply holding each other, letting the music fill the spaces where words fell short. Eventually, they shifted, turning to face each other. Adam brushed a strand of hair from Lyra's face, his touch gentle. "May I kiss you?" he asked, his voice low. Lyra's answer was to close the distance between them, pressing her lips to his in a soft, tentative kiss that spoke volumes. The kiss deepened, becoming more assured as they got lost in the sensation, in the moment. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathless. Lyra looked at Adam, a shy smile playing on her lips. "That was," she started, but couldn't find the words. "Yeah," Adam agreed, feeling a surge of happiness.
It was.
They spent the rest of the night exploring their newfound intimacy, each touch and kiss deepening the connection that had been simmering between them for weeks. It was a night of gentle discoveries and silent acknowledgments of the feelings they had been too afraid to voice until now. Morning light filtered through the curtains, casting a warm glow across the room where Adam and Lyra lay intertwined. The events of the previous night had transformed their relationship, and as they woke, there was a sense of newness between them. Adam was the first to stir, his gaze settling on Lyra as she slept peacefully beside him. The sight filled him with a profound tenderness he hadn't expected to feel. Carefully, so as not to wake her, he propped himself on one elbow and simply watched her, taking in the gentle rise and fall of her chest. After a few moments, Lyra's eyes fluttered open, and she turned to face him, a soft smile spreading across her face. "Good morning," she whispered, her voice husky with sleep. "Morning," Adam replied, his heart swelling. "How did you sleep?" "Better than I have in a long time," Lyra confessed, stretching languidly. "And you?" "Same here," Adam said, leaning in to kiss her forehead gently. "I was worried it might be awkward when we woke up, but it feels right, doesn't it?" "It does," Lyra agreed, her smile deepening. "I was worried too, but this feels natural, like it's where we're supposed to be." Encouraged by her words, Adam brushed a lock of hair from her face, his touch light. "I'm glad.
Last night was
special," Lyra finished for him, her eyes locking with his. "It was special, Adam." They lay in silence for a moment, savoring the tranquility that enveloped them. Eventually, Adam sat up, pulling the sheets around him. "I can make us breakfast. We could use a good meal after last night." Lyra laughed, the sound bright and clear. "I'd like that. Maybe you can show me how to make those pancakes you bragged about." "Deal," Adam said as he climbed out of bed. "Let's get started." In the kitchen, the atmosphere was light and playful. Adam gathered ingredients while Lyra watched, her interest piqued. "So, what's the secret to perfect pancakes?" she asked, leaning against the counter. "It's all about the batter," Adam explained, handing her the bowl. "You have to mix it just right, not too smooth. A few lumps are okay." Lyra took the bowl, her movements careful as she mixed. "Like this?" "Exactly like that," Adam said, watching her. "You're a natural." With the batter ready, Adam showed her how to heat the pan and pour the batter, his hands guiding hers. Together, they cooked the pancakes, laughing when one turned out oddly shaped and cheering when another flipped perfectly. As they sat down to eat, the conversation turned to more serious topics. "Lyra, what happens now?" Adam asked, his voice soft. "With us, I mean. This changes things." Lyra took a deep breath, her expression thoughtful. "I know. I've been thinking about that too. I don't want to hide what we have, Adam. It feels too important for that." "I agree," Adam said, his decision firm. "We'll figure it out together. Whatever comes, we'll handle it as a team." Lyra reached for his hand, squeezing it gently. "I like the sound of that. A team." Breakfast turned into a lengthy conversation about their hopes and fears for the future, but underlying all their plans was a current of excitement. They were charting unknown territory, both personally and culturally, but the promise of what could be overshadowed any doubts. As they cleared the dishes, Adam pulled Lyra into a hug, feeling a sense of completeness. "Thank you for being brave enough to explore this with me," he murmured. "And thank you for being someone worth taking that risk for," Lyra replied, her voice muffled against his chest. Together, they faced the day, not knowing what the future held but certain that whatever it was, they would face it together. In the weeks that followed, Adam and Lyra settled into a comfortable rhythm, balancing their newfound intimacy with the daily demands of life. However, it wasn't long before Lyra started feeling unwell. She was tired all the time, and her usual vibrant energy had dimmed. Concerned, Adam insisted they visit a local clinic that was known for its expertise in interspecies medical care. Sitting in the sterile, white waiting room, Adam reached over to squeeze Lyra's hand. "It's probably nothing serious," he tried to reassure her, though his own voice betrayed his worry. "I hope you're right," Lyra replied, managing a weak smile. "I just feel off, and I don't like not knowing why." When the doctor called them in, they were met by Dr. Eliason, a human physician with extensive experience in xenobiology. After a series of questions and examinations, the doctor requested a more detailed scan. "Let's just make sure we cover all our bases," Dr. Eliason said, his tone professional yet comforting. Lyra lay on the examination table, a large scanning device humming softly above her. Adam stood by her side, holding her hand for support. The minutes dragged on, heavy with anticipation. Finally, the machine quieted, and Dr. Eliason reviewed the results on his screen. Turning to them with a serious expression, he said, "Well, I have some unexpected news. Lyra, you're pregnant." The words hung in the air like a weight. Adam and Lyra exchanged shocked looks, neither having anticipated this possibility. "Pregnant?" Lyra echoed, her voice a mix of confusion and awe. "But, is that even possible?" Dr. Eliason nodded. "It appears so. Interspecies pregnancies are extremely rare, but they can happen with certain physiological compatibilities. It seems you two are compatible in more ways than one. What does this mean for the baby?" "For Lyra?" Adam asked, his concern mounting. "It's too early to say for sure. We'll need to monitor Lyra closely, and there will be more tests to ensure the pregnancy is progressing safely," the doctor explained. The drive home was quiet, both of them lost in their own thoughts. Once home, Adam turned to Lyra, taking her hands in his. "Lyra, whatever you need, whatever you decide, I'm with you. We're in this together." Lyra looked up at him, her eyes filled with a mix of emotions. "I'm scared, Adam, but I believe in us. If you're with me, then I want to go through with this." They spent the evening talking about what the future might hold, discussing how they would manage the challenges ahead. Adam reassured Lyra of his unwavering support, while Lyra expressed her fears and hopes about becoming a mother under such unusual circumstances. "I know this isn't how we planned things," Adam said as they sat on the couch, wrapped in each other's arms. "But I think this could be something wonderful." Lyra rested her head on his shoulder. "I'm starting to think so too. It's just going to take some time to fully process it." In the following days, they began preparing in earnest. They read up on interspecies pregnancies, consulted with specialists, and started adjusting their home for the upcoming addition to their family. Their relationship, already deep, grew only stronger under the weight of their shared responsibility. They were pioneers in a very real sense, navigating uncharted waters together with hope and determination. As challenging as the road ahead might be, they were ready to face it as a team, strengthened by their love and commitment to each other and their unborn child. As the weeks turned into months, the reality of Lyra's pregnancy became more apparent. Adam had hoped to keep the news private for a while longer, but such secrets were hard to keep in the tight-knit community of Neoterra. It wasn't long before rumors began to spread, and with them came a wave of scrutiny and judgment. One crisp morning, Adam found a group of reporters waiting outside his apartment building. The presence of media was a stark reminder of how public their private life had become. Lyra, standing beside him, squeezed his hand tightly as they faced the cameras. "Mr. Ryder, is it true that your Aien Maid is carrying your child?" One of the reporters shouted, the bluntness of the question catching Adam off guard. He took a deep breath, his protective instincts kicking in. "We would appreciate some privacy during this time," he responded calmly, though his eyes flashed with irritation. "Don't you think the public deserves to know about this interspecies relationship?" Another chimed in, pushing for a sensational angle. Adam stepped forward, his stance firm. "What Lyra and I share is based on mutual respect and consent. We aren't a spectacle," Lyra, ever composed, added. "We are simply two beings who found love. The details of our relationship and my pregnancy should not be fodder for entertainment." Despite their clear statements, the questions continued, each more invasive than the last. Eventually, Adam and Lyra managed to retreat back into the safety of their apartment, but the damage had been done. The story exploded across various media platforms, sparking debates and discussions about the ethics and implications of human-alien relationships. The following days brought more challenges. Adam noticed people whispering when they walked past, and some of his business contacts began distancing themselves. The social backlash was swift and harsh. Lyra tried to remain strong, but Adam could see the strain it put on her. One evening, after a particularly rough day of dealing with disparaging comments online, Adam sat down with Lyra on their living room couch. "Maybe we should consider moving somewhere more private, away from all this unwanted attention," he suggested, trying to find a solution to shield Lyra from the public eye. Lyra considered his words, her expression pensive. "It might come to that, but running away won't change how people view us. Maybe we need to face this head-on and help them understand." Adam looked at her, admiration mingling with his concern. "You're incredibly brave, Lyra, but I hate seeing you hurt by all this." "It is not easy, but I am not alone," Lyra said, reaching out to touch his cheek. "You are with me, and together, we can endure much." Determined to support each other, they decided to start a blog, sharing their experiences and perspectives on interspecies relationships. It was a way to control the narrative and educate people about the realities versus the prejudices. Their first post was a heartfelt piece written by Adam, detailing how their relationship developed and the love that bound them together. Lyra followed with her own entry about the challenges of being an alien on a human-dominated planet and the additional complexities of her pregnancy. The blog slowly gained a following, and while it didn't completely change public opinion, it did start a more constructive conversation. Some reached out with words of support and encouragement, sharing their own stories of unconventional relationships. As they navigated these tumultuous waters, Adam and Lyra learned to lean on each other more than ever. Each challenge seemed to strengthen their bond, reinforcing their commitment to face whatever lay ahead together, as partners, as a family. Their love, tested by societal pressures, proved resilient and became a beacon of hope for others in similar situations. Months had passed since Adam and Lyra started their blog, and gradually, the tone of the public discourse around them had shifted. They had become reluctant spokespersons for interspecies understanding and tolerance. As Lyra's pregnancy progressed, so too did the acceptance from those who had initially met their relationship with skepticism. One evening, as they sat in the nursery they had prepared, painting whimsical patterns on the walls, Adam looked over at Lyra, who was carefully adding details to a mural. "This room has turned out to be quite magical," Adam remarked, his brush stroking a vibrant green leaf into existence. "It's a reflection of everything we've been through," Lyra replied, stepping back to assess her work. "Do you think the world is ready for our little one?" Adam set his paintbrush down and wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. "The world might still need some time, but we'll make this home a sanctuary for them. They'll grow up knowing love and acceptance, no matter what's out there." Lyra leaned into his embrace, her hands covering his. "I still can't believe how much has changed, not just around us, but in us. I never envisioned this life, yet I can't imagine anything better." "I know what you mean," Adam agreed, his voice soft. "I used to think my life was about building a successful business, but now it's so much more." They spent the rest of the evening discussing plans for the future, including outreach programs they wanted to develop to foster greater integration between humans and Vortons. Their personal story had sparked a movement, one they were eager to lead, fueled by their experiences and lessons learned. A few weeks later, the day finally came. Lyra went into labor, and Adam rushed her to the hospital. Despite the high emotions and anxiety, they felt prepared. The hospital staff, having been briefed on Lyra's unique condition, treated them with the utmost care and respect. After hours of labor, their baby was born, a beautiful fusion of two worlds. Adam was at Lyra's side throughout, holding her hand and offering words of encouragement. When the nurse handed them their child, the challenges of the past months melted away, replaced by overwhelming joy and love. "He's perfect," Adam whispered, gazing in awe at the tiny life in his arms. "He's our little miracle," Lyra replied, tears of happiness streaming down her face. In the days that followed, their story reached new heights. Media outlets from across the galaxy wanted to cover the birth of the first human-born child. Adam and Lyra agreed to a few interviews, choosing platforms that supported their mission of promoting peace and understanding. As they introduced their son to the world, Adam felt a profound sense of pride and accomplishment. They had overcome so much, and in doing so, had opened the door for others to bridge the gaps between species. Sitting in the nursery one night, rocking his son to sleep, Adam reflected on the journey. The room, with its painted stars and planets, seemed to hold the entire universe, a universe where his son could aspire to be whoever he wanted to be, free from prejudice. Lyra joined him, wrapping her arms around them both. "What are we going to tell him about all this when he's older?" she asked softly. "We'll tell him the truth," Adam replied, looking into her eyes. "That he was born from love, that his parents fought for a better understanding among diverse peoples, and that he is a symbol of hope and unity." Together, they looked down at their son, promising silently to give him the best of both worlds. They knew challenges lay ahead, but with love as their guide, they felt ready to face whatever came their way. They had each other, they had their son, and they had a community slowly but surely learning to embrace diversity and change.